Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be testing the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super in Black Myth Wukong, and the game has finally launched. And this is not the benchmark tool, this is the full game. Here are the specs of the GPU, and we are using the Zotac AMP Hollow model of the card. This is the non-OC variant. We have the 16GB of GDDR6X VRAM. We are on the latest NVIDIA driver 560.81 as of time I'm recording this video. We have resizable bar enabled also inside BIOS. And there should be another driver coming very soon from NVIDIA after the game launches, the game ready driver, which has not hit yet, but I can't wait for that. Here is the CPU specs. We have the 13700KF CPU, and we have 64GB of DDR5 CL36 6000 MHz memory. And finally, in MSI Afterburner, we have no overclocks applied. Everything is set to stock. And let's get inside the game and check out the frame rates, guys. Alright guys, we're inside the game now, and as you can see, display mode, only borderless and window is available, no full screen. And we're gonna start it off with 4K resolution, VSync frame rate off, motion blur turned off. And we're gonna use DLAA starting off, that is 100% super resolution. This is just set to DLAA. It basically means DLAA when it's 100%. And ray tracing, we'll test it out later. And I'm going to start it off with the maximum preset, that is cinematic. So I am in this forest area at the very starting of the game. I have played a little bit, defeated one boss, a big boss. It was called, I think, Bull, something like that. And as you can see, this is the maximum native preset at cinematic. This is native DLAA, and we are getting not good. The frame time is very high. It's above 30, and we're getting like 30 frames per second. It was expected pretty much. Let's fight these wolves. It's not gonna be a good experience like this. And 1% lows are still fine. This is at 26. That's why it feels still very smooth, even with such a high frame time. But there will be some areas where the frame rate is gonna drop massively, and the gameplay won't be that smooth. Like right now, it's jumping a lot, the frame time, from 20s to 30s, and it's not smooth. So obviously this is not how we are going to be playing, or how you should be playing with this GPU. It is an Unreal Engine 5 title, and it looks really good, I would say, especially on these native settings. The water looks really good. Okay, so you jump with control. I did not know that. Okay, so up next, I'm gonna just enable some DLSS quality, and for that, I just need to drag this all the way to 63 or 64, whatever you want. And now you can see that it's set to DLSS quality there. And cinematic preset, let's apply this. Okay, so now we're getting above 40s, sometimes 50s. This is gonna be much more playable. Yeah, it's very smooth now. Frame time has dropped to 20s from high 30s or low 30s. I have to kill this guy with an arrow, you know. Let's go up there and kill this wolf with the bow and arrow quickly. We're using 17 gigabytes of RAM. VRAM is not being used that much, even though this card has ample of VRAM. Okay, so now we are averaging at 45 frames per second in this jungle area. And there will be a boss in here, which I tried to fight earlier and I failed miserably. And there is another boss over here. Where is he there? What's his name? Giant head. Oh, hello. You cannot counter or defend attacks in this game, which is what I don't like. You can only dodge. You got your spells. The spells are pretty nice, even though I have one right now. But at the starting of the game, you do get to use 3 spells. So I have an idea. Spells are really powerful in this game. And if you guys can give me any tips on how to play this game, please let me know. Because I really suck bad in these kinds of games, Souls-like games especially. Even though it's not hardcore Souls-like, but it is still very hard for me. Because I already said I failed at defeating this boss once and that boss twice. Alright, so up next at 4K, we're gonna test very high preset. And we're gonna leave it at DLAA, so native 4K. And in the same area, we're getting pretty close to 40 FPS now. Not that great of an increase from cinematic to very high. But the frame time is slightly lower, so yeah, I still wouldn't recommend playing it with these settings. Come on, monkey. We have to defeat these bosses. Because I failed. I tried again to defeat that fire boss just before this clip, and I failed again. So it's respawned me here. Because I am horrible at these kinds of games, you know. But regardless, we're getting 36 average. Nothing special from a cinematic. I think even when turning on DLSS quality, it's gonna be the same experience, more or less. Alright, since that is not making any improvement, so we're gonna enable some DLSS quality again. Set this to 63 with very high preset. Let's see if there's any improvement. Yeah, there is slight improvement from cinematic DLSS to very high DLSS, because we're getting like 40-ish frames there, and now we're getting 50 plus, which is nice. Yeah, there were some stutters there. Gonna keep on firing. These enemies, these minor enemies, are not a problem at all in this game. It's all the bosses which is a problem for me. CPU, as you can see, not very demanding on the CPU this game at all. CPU usage is fine. We're getting 53 FPS average. I'm not gonna go in there, start fighting this guy. Maybe I should, you know. Let's go. Let's try it in the video clip. See if we can make it. I'm just doing it for the benchmark at this point. And I died. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna enable frame generation on top of very high and DLSS quality. Okay, the image looks very bad, very blurry, especially when I move my mouse. So this is DLSS 3 frame gen. We're getting 70 plus frames, and input lag is sometimes noticeable, but it's still very much playable. Okay, so we're getting 74 average. Not gonna go there. I hate him. Gonna keep on fighting these wolves. The water really looks nice this game. So we are averaging at 74, which is excellent, and it's quite playable, I would say, with frame gen, especially while using very high and DLSS quality on top. I don't think it will be a nice experience if I only enable frame gen without using DLSS. We finally managed to defeat him, guys. As you can see, we get a new weapon, I guess. Somehow I managed to defeat him. Alright guys, so let's change some settings. We're gonna set this to 100%, and we're gonna do is high preset. And I just now defeated this boss, this flame boss. His body is gone now. We got a new ability as well for a transformation. Can't believe I made it. Ring the bell. Okay, so yeah, since we have control over the slider, we don't need to set it to 63 always. Like right now with high preset, we are getting very close to 60 FPS. So I think setting it to around 75% with the DLSS quality 75% should do good enough for us get to that 60 plus FPS, which should be sufficient in this game, you know. Maybe I have to go and fight that big-headed boss right now. That would be crazy. Like fighting two bosses, one after the other. Holy sh! He is very powerful. Oh my goodness. We'll set this to 75% DLSS quality. We don't need it at 63 because that high frame rate is unnecessary because we are already using high preset. So it should be sufficient enough to get 60 plus. Yep, as you can see, we're getting 70 plus, even 80s at times. So we died and it respawned back here. Got some sparks or skill points to use. Let's use them up, you know. We're getting 70 FPS. Let's go here. Let's see what we can improve. Transformations. I'm just farming levels at this point in this area. And making myself stronger and stronger. So averaging at 73 FPS, VRAM is slightly above 8 gigabytes. Relax, relax, relax. 1% loot is pretty good in this game. In terms of smoothness, it's really, really good. This game is well optimized, I would say. So averaging 76, which is really nice. I think it's very much playable with this settings. More than playable. There are some stutters here and there, but it's okay. Yeah, so one more time we're gonna choose cinematic preset because I forgot to turn on frame generation. So we're gonna set it to DLSS quality with frame generation. DLSS quality 63. So as you can see, with frame gen turned on top of DLSS quality 63 with cinematic preset, we're getting 60 plus FPS, and the the input delay is sometimes quite noticeable when I move my mouse very fast. Shouldn't be an issue with the controller. With the mouse, I can really notice it at times, but it's still playable, I would say. Maybe when lots of enemies attack you at the same time, it will be a severe problem, the input delay, but right now it's quite good. As you can see, the frame time graph, it's pretty smooth. And we're averaging at 67. So you can play it this way too with frame gen. But I generally like to stick with actual frames. I don't like using frame generation in any game. So I'll probably stick with the high preset or very high DLSS quality, something like that. Alright, up next, this time we have enabled ray tracing to very high with DLSS quality and frame generation turned on with very high preset. And it's not a good experience because I just tried it before making the clip. And as you can see, the frame time graph is really going up and down. It's not a smooth experience. The frame rate is fine, 45, but the smoothness is just not there. And by the way, I have decided that I will evade this guy, as I can see that there is a way through there. So what I'm gonna just do is sneak behind this guy quickly so he doesn't notice me. Let's see if we can go to the next area. Goodbye. He made it. I don't want to fight him. I am just here to benchmark. Okay. Oh, everything is falling apart. 50 FPS there. Maybe because there is nothing down there, that's why. Yeah. Input delay is really noticeable. You can see the frame time graph. It's getting thicker and thicker. But the game looks really nice though. Yeah, shoot your own guys. That's nice. It's very difficult like this with such an input delay. Fight. Stop him and then kill him. Change this full ray tracing level to medium and then test this out with the same settings. With the DLSS quality and frame generation, we are getting now 58. Okay, this is much better now. It's much more smoother than before. We're gonna meet another boss now. Hopefully not. So let's visit this boss. Gather the flame. Some mushrooms here. Don't know what to do with that though. We're getting 59 average. It's quite playable this way. But honestly, using medium ray tracing makes no sense. Let's go have a look at this boss.
There's no turning back.
Oh, maybe when I die, there is turning back. Oh my goodness, who is this? It's like father of the wolves. Alright everyone, moving on at 1440p resolution. We are using cinematic preset with DLAA. No ray tracing, no frame generation. And I finally defeated the wolf boss after like 3 tries. 3 or 4 tries. I did figure out that I had to craft my armor and all that stuff from the shrine, which I didn't do before fighting him. And after I did that from here, I was able to defeat him. And while I was doing 1440p in the benchmark tool, cinematic DLAA, we were getting like 60 FPS around. And it seems like we are still hovering around that same place, 60 FPS. Sometimes it drops below that, 50-ish. And I saw a hardware unboxed video of the benchmark tool for this game, for the 4780 Ti Super. They were getting like, without ray tracing, frame generation, and without DLSS, they were getting like 40-ish frames, 48 or something like that, 45. Don't really remember the exact number. Nice, we get a health boost there, which is excellent. So it seems like that my GPU is getting slightly higher frames than theirs and many others, which I have seen people commenting on my 4780 Ti Super video. I don't know why it's the case. They were getting like 45 frames and I'm getting like 60. That's a huge difference, 15 frames in the same settings. And even some of you guys who you were commenting about the same, that you were getting less frames, which is really weird to me. And this pretty much proves it that I was getting the right frames back then in the benchmark tool, as I'm getting right now 60 frames average, as you can see, pretty much in 1440p. And we will also see the 1080p cinematic DLAA. In that, I was getting like 75 FPS in the benchmark tool, and Hardware Unboxed was getting like 61. And many of you were getting the same 60 frames at 1080p. But as you can see, even at 1440p, I'm getting 60 FPS. So I don't know what's going on. Alright, moving on, we're going to enable DLSS quality. That is, set this to 63 with cinematic preset. I'm so far liking this game, but at the same time, it's very difficult for me because it's taking more than 1 or 2 tries for me to defeat bosses. But I think that's probably the case for most of you guys as well, who are playing this. And VRAM usage is 7.5. Yeah, we're getting 80 frames as well, here and there. 74 average, which is perfect. And the game looks really beautiful. And the smoothness and optimization, this is incredible. Oh, what's that? A frog? Frog monster. There's another one for them. It's exploding. Let's get the wheel. What's this? Lotus seeds. I think I am going to be streaming this game as well, so make sure you guys subscribe, and if you would like to see me streaming this, do check it out on my channel. I'll also have Star Wars Outlaws benchmark videos when it comes out on the 27th, I guess, and I will also be playing it. Alright, up next at 1440p with DLSS and frame generation turned on and cinematic preset. Should be easily above 100 frames, yep. As you can see, it's pretty much doubling our frames with frame gen. Let's heal up quickly. But yeah, there is noticeable difference in image quality when turning on frame generation, especially while moving. You can really tell that images become really blurry. What is that? He got a weird mask on him, a crow mask. You can also jump, in case you didn't know, with the control key. Can I use my power up? Excellent. I think we're gonna meet up another boss really soon. But with frame generation on, it's quite playable if you want the 100 frames per second, which is unnecessary for this game. 1% low is really good, and average is 110, which is excellent. But I don't think you will need 100 frames in this game. Anything around 70 is pretty much perfect, in my opinion. At 1440p, I'm gonna turn on very high preset now, and using DLAA, turn on frame gen. So DLAA, very high preset, close to 60, 54, 55. Just roam around back here because I don't want to go up there and fight him right now, because I know I'm gonna die in the first try. So we're getting close to 60 FPS. Might not be a playable experience because you will see drops while fighting, which I'll go now and do. RAM usage is well above 16 gigabytes. VRAM is... okay, he's not a boss. Like a mini boss. Take that. Gonna freeze him. I like what noises the monkey makes. It's pretty funny. Having a bridge fight right now. Okay, we got some bones to break. Okay, not that hard to fight though. They look kinda difficult, but they weren't. Okay, so we're getting 60 average. It's still playable. Would not say it's not. But I think I generally prefer like around 70 frames to have that extra gap between 60 in case there are drops. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set this DLSS quality slider to, let's see, 86 maybe. At very high preset. Let's see if we can get the 60-70 FPS mark. Yep, we are getting 60 to 70. This is what I exactly wanted. So we have that extra FPS. Oops. Had to wait for them to get ready, you know, with their neck. Their long neck. Okay, I failed with that heavy attack. Gonna break the bone guy first. He's easier to break. I made the attack, but I still took a damage. Alright, Alright, let's go. We're getting 74 FPS average. Oh, we got more. How many of these are there in this area? So 75 FPS average. This is pretty nice. This is I would be personally playing at 1440p without ray tracing preset. Okay, so once again I'm using the cinematic preset, but this time with only frame generation turned on DLAA. Let's see how this is. How the input delay is. It's pretty nice. I cannot notice any delay whatsoever. And we're getting 80 frames per second. I think image quality looks really bad. I think I would much rather use DLSS instead of frame generation. This place is crawling with these bones, these skeletons. I'm gonna wake both of them up at the same time. Because they take a lot of time to get up, you know. And they're very slow. Let me know if you want me to test any more settings which I haven't done in this video. So I'll make another part in that case. Because I really like this game. The looks of this game, the visuals. So I'm really enjoying benchmarking this so far. The visuals and animations look really good. So is the gameplay. Just because I am bad, I won't bash this game. Alright, up next with high preset with DLSS set to 100, that is DLAA. How much we get natively? Oh wow, 130. This is gonna be nice. Let's break all these stuff. You get will by breaking all of these items, you know. So yeah, this is very nice. From very high to high, there is a huge improvement in frames, but at the same time there's a huge downgrade in the graphics as well. So we got some water monsters now attacking us, mostly frogs. Frog turned into monsters. Okay, there's a giant frog over there. I messed up there. I used my spell on the wrong enemy. I wanted to use it on this giant frog. This one is a boss. Frog boss. Let's get rid of his minion first. Very difficult to fight in water because of the water splash and all these plants in the water. Alright guys, so now we are going to use the ray tracing settings to very high at cinematic preset. So in case you thought you can max out this game with ray tracing at 1440p, then you are totally wrong, because it is becoming unplayable. But let me tell you, it looks really nice for screenshots. The lighting looks phenomenal. And the frame time is 40 plus milliseconds. So the shadow and lightning looks amazing. I think I will probably do a dedicated video for path tracing or ray tracing settings. Ray tracing on and off. Not sure if this game has path tracing inbuilt. It probably has. So what we are gonna do is enable some DLSS quality and set this to 63 with cinematic preset. Okay, now it's much better, but the image looks blurry at the same time. And I don't really want to go up there and fight the frog right now. I just want to explore. And this guy has disappeared. Getting 50 plus frames over here while fighting. And the water looks even nicer now with ray tracing. This is somewhat playable. But I think we will probably need help of frame generation as well as cinematic quality. Okay, so I'm gonna enable frame generation, and with DLSS quality with cinematic, gonna refresh the counters. And as you can see, we're getting like 80 plus frames now. This should be very much playable now. But the game looks really bad. Image quality is horrible. Let's kill all these bones or skeletons. Okay, he's not a bone, my bad. He's like more like a dinosaur. Where'd he go? Why are you going up there? Come down. Fight. Okay. We're getting 78 frames average. This is very much playable now. And there's no delay whatsoever. Frame time looks perfect. Alright, so finally for 1440p, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set DLSS to 70 and turn on frame gen and very high ray tracing and very high graphics preset. So as you can see, with very high preset, we're getting 80 frames per second. This is just for the testing. I'm not saying you should play it this way, but this is quite playable, I think. We're getting 90 even, so you can, if you want, you can increase the DLSS slider a little bit more towards 80s. So I think you can stick to that 60-70 FPS mark then. Still have a good experience, even with ray tracing turned on. But I think this game should be played with RT turned on because it looks really good. Gorgeous. Doesn't take much damage from the heavy attack, this thing. Got some bones as well attacking us. Gonna die, gonna die. There's no input delay whatsoever with frame gen. As you can see, I'm fighting these bones. And I have no issues. 84 FPS average, you can easily increase the slider for the super resolution. So finally, for 1080p resolution, I'm going to set this to the maximum settings, that is cinematic graphics preset, ray tracing set to very high, no frame gen, and DLAA. And straight off the bat, we don't even get 60 frames per second. We're getting like 43, which is not good. Even at 1080p, with ray tracing, it doesn't give us 60 frames per second. What days are we living in? Like a 4780 Ti Super at $800 GPU cannot get us 60 frames at 1080p resolution. My GPU usage is maxed out. There is no CPU bottlenecking. Obviously, this game is not so demanding on the CPU as I've already said. But this, from seeing this, what I can tell is that Hardware Unboxed, when they did the testing, and many of you as well, I was saying that earlier in the 1440p sequence, that you guys were getting like 60 frames average when playing at 1080p without using ray tracing. And here I'm getting like 40 frames with using ray tracing. And in the benchmark tool, I was getting like 61 frames while using ray tracing. And they got that 61 frames without using ray tracing. So I was getting more frames when in the benchmark tool when using RT. But in the game, it's a totally different case. Okay, so I had to restart the game to turn off ray tracing. So with the DLAA, with cinematic preset, and now we are really getting 60 frames per second, just like Hardware Unboxed was getting in the benchmark tool. I would really like to see how much they actually get, how much actual frames they get in the game. Hope they release a video on that. And you also guys let me know with the 4070 Ti Super how much you are getting at 1080p without using ray tracing, using DLAA, without frame gen or DLSS, native 1080p cinematic DLAA, because I'm getting like 60 frames, 63, 62, something like that. And in the benchmark tool, I was getting 75 FPS average in this same settings. You can go check that video out as well. I did the testing multiple times, even after I got comments from you guys, but I was still getting the same 75 FPS. So I have to fight this frog down here, this giant frog inside the cave. So which I'm not gonna do in this video. I'll probably do it off screen or off video, because I don't want to show my skills. So anyways guys, that will be it for this video. Do let me know what do you think about this game and the performance, and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, take care, bye bye, and take care.